We are here at Downing Street in London, and we are here talking to these awesome gentlemen here that we have found just opposite Downing Street. Guys, can you tell us why you're here today, please?
Well, my name's Aaron, and I'm very much concerned about the way that this country is being led and the information that's being put out.
Yeah.
And I feel that we need to say our piece because the media isn't representing two sides of any story anymore.
Well, to simplify it, we've got Downing Street across the road that's old school, and we're on the streets new school directly across from Downing Street. So anything that comes out now is coming from Downing Street. We are the heart of Britain right now.
Right.
We're all speaking and talking and saying the same things.
Yeah.
So now we just need to just organise ourselves better, and we can finish the whole thing now.
I love that. So for people that aren't quite aware of what it is you're doing and why you're here, I can see a gazebo here and some chairs set up, and can clearly see you've been here for a minute. But going back a little bit, can you tell us, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
Geza?
Geza. Yeah.
Geza, for our viewers that aren't aware of who you are and what you do, can you give us a little bit of background about how you've got to this point now?
Well, simply just been fighting fracking and beating a Tory government. I just want everybody to know you can beat a Tory government if you work hard. There we go. So yeah, if you work hard, and we're beating fracking. We've closed the 4 sites. There is no fracking in the country. And just recently, I found out about the fact that they were testing the vaccine on the children, and that brought me on board. And the journey I've done in the last 2 months, going to the hospitals, educating myself, and everything now is apparent that they're attacking our children, and it's been going on for decades. And anybody now that doesn't see that are literally be blind. Now it's that time for parents to protect all our children. And like I said, this unifies it. As a parent, it unifies everybody. We have to do it now. You know what I mean? And it's all there. And the COVID thing, to test a vaccine on kids that failed on animals, basically says it all about Big Pharma, about Boris Johnson. They're just so disconnected from real people and real feelings. These children are our children. They're not a number. They're not the children like the elderly. These elderly are your grandparents, people that you love. They don't know that, and that's our strength now, right now. We're all talking the same.
Yes, and just to add a little bit to that, I mean, look at the lineup for the future of children. If they're going to be expected to go to school periodically, wear a mask, be socially isolated, I mean, what kind of social dysfunction do we want a future generation to be like? And then to be sort of jabbed before they can, do anything. Oh, you can't come to school unless you've had your vaccination. I mean, if you just read the writing on the wall, you can see the build-up, and they're making it very clear what they intend to do. And so we all need to speak, because the children are the future. So it's really important for us to think about protecting them.
The main thing that's going on now is programming. If the children see mum and dad wearing a mask, they wear a mask. If they see mum and dad queuing up like a herd of cattle at the shops, they're being programmed, and that's what this is about. It's about programming. So it's going beyond school, and also if they're not going to go to school, then they can't be documented of where they're going to be. The children are now under so much danger, and this is it. So what we know, we're parents, we've got to step up to the plate, and we can give them the future that they deserve and that we want them to be. It really is that good. But the thing is, the right people are right now talking.
Yes.
We've just got so much. Just to explain, first of all, is the reason this is here is, one, this space here is supposed to hem us in, right? They put this in, it's official protest pen that nobody knows about, and it's supposed to hem us in, it's supposed to keep us away from the gates of Downing Street. Now, the beauty of it is, this is the most expensive real estate for freedom fighters, for the people of this country, and we can actually run Britain from here and make that irrelevant, because Boris Johnson's done that. And just being here and people coming and talk to us and have a space where they know where we are, it's working.
Yeah. Could you reiterate that for me again, just for those that aren't aware of the regulations that surround Downing Street and Parliament? You just explained about this area, and for people that aren't familiar with London, can you just reiterate that again for this area that we're standing on right now? Freedom fighters, truth warriors, people that are awake to the narrative lie in general. this is pretty much a hub for where they should be coming. Am I right?
Well, the thing was, before it had no soul. It was just railings around a piece of land that the government had put to contain you and keep you away from the gates. So what we're doing now is we're giving it life. We've got a stage, we've got a PA system, we've got chairs, we've got cover, we've got a stove. Right, we do need more. We do know. We'll come to that in a second. But the fact is, we're here, and then anybody can talk to us, and then we can share. But the main thing about it is we share it with everybody, and that's it. When people came in, the Yemen protesters kept beautiful people, by the way, beautiful people, and they wanted to pray, and they asked to come in. I said, it's yours. Yeah, it's yours.
Unity.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah, and then we let them, go on the stage. He says, here, there's a microphone. We had a little microphone. We gave him, and what you're doing, you're giving, and you're giving things that are really, really simple. If you've got it, you give it, and that's what we're doing here. And if we can build up more in here, just look at that space there.
It's a lot of room.
And it's directly across from there.
A lot of room. So yeah, as we were saying, we've got this, some of the most expensive real estate in the city. And this is a space, like as you said, that people can come together, people can unify. As you said, you've had other protesters come through, and as you said, you've just said this space is yours as well. So did they pray?
Yeah, they prayed in the corner when we just, carried on, talking and explaining, they prayed for the duration of the day. The protest still went on in the background as well. They were still talking, because the thing is, there's that connection we've got. And I'll tell you what's really important as well. Now, I'm not a religious person, but this government and globally are trying to break people away from their faith, and that's the thing with the COVID-19, breaking people. Now we can do and give people their faith back, and let's say, look, trust in your faith. And this is not coming from a person that's religious,
as you said,
or spiritual, right? It is, you've got to connect with your faith, and you've got to have trust in that faith and fight for it, all right? And the way we do that is, again, giving ourselves some space. So even down here, we will have days where people will be able to pray. We'll have the minute, and any faith can come down. I did a thing at the fracking site in the first 3 or 4 months. Now, I'm a great believer to throw everything at it and something will stick or something will work. And one idea I had, it was January, February, about March, April, the last Friday of the month was going to be No Faith in Fracking. Now, the very first No Faith in Fracking, we had people praying at the gates, and I kid you not, we had biblical rain that flooded the site, and that happened. You can read up on it, right? They flooded the site. Now, as soon as they sorted that problem out, they went through an artesian well. They drilled through a well. That flooded the site. It was up to their ankles, right? 26 water trucks.
Oh, goodness.
So the thing is, believe in your faith, and I had faith that if they believed it, it would happen. Yeah, I know what faith is, right? So, and the thing is, this can happen here as well. There's a beauty in when somebody, and you need something like this, in times like this, you need your faith. So keep hold of it and use it, right? And, we'll do that down here. We're going to give everybody back what they've had stolen from them. That's what it is.
What's needed.
Yeah, it's a voice.
I mean, who would have thought this time last year that we would actually be sort of told not to be with our loved ones, to be separated, and in the whole country under house arrest. And the thing is, not only the whole country, healthy people made to stay in. That's like putting domestic animals, keeping them in the cage and not letting them out. I mean, it's so outrageous. It sort of reminds me of like a parent who's got Munchausen syndrome, and they keep telling their child, you're sick, you've got to stay in bed, you're sick, you've got to stay in bed. The government has done that to the whole nation, not just this government, but all of them collectively worldwide. And it's just so outrageous, and no one's questioned it.
They've abused our tolerance.
They have.
We are a tolerant nation, and they've abused it. And which we don't get angry about it, we just find the solution. And the best solution has always been to talk. They won't talk to us because we can unravel them. Yeah? When you've lied, you can unravel a lie. If you tell the truth, it will always be the truth. So if I said the truth 20 years ago, it would be the truth today.
Talking about unraveling lies, if I can maybe go back a little bit as to why you're awake to these things in the first place. What got you on your pursuit of truth in the first place? What kind of knee jerked you out of a slumber?
I'll try and do it as brief as I can, because obviously it's a long story of 9 years, but I'll do it as brief as I can. My house was damaged by, well, I was a kids entertainer for 25 years. I'd had 30 odd jobs before that, and so I was obviously in the job that I loved. I had a beautiful wife, I had, you know, the house, everything was going great. In fact, I worked 7 days a week, never had holidays, because I loved my job. And I love kids. I was working with kids. Kids are fantastic, you know, and they need to be nurtured, they need to be protected, and that's where I get emotional, right?
Yeah.
So, right, 1 minute.
No worries, my darling. No worries. Yeah.
I've got to think about what I've got to say next, right?
No worries.
Right. So,
nurtured.
April the 1st, right? April the 1st, 2011, my house got damaged, and that was my awakening, right? I'd researched it, and I went, I can beat this, because it hadn't started. I thought, if I work hard, I can beat it. And boy, I did everything. But it cost me my house and my wife and everything else. I would not change that, because where we are now, one, it's empowerment. Two, I know that we can beat this government. We have beat the Tory government in that period of time. So my awakening was that, realising how broken Britain was, and it's the strength has been, if you talk to like-minded people, you share that energy and share that power, but it's always down to that person to work hard to do it. Won't happen. If you hear it and you don't do anything,
that's right.
It's like a seed.
Correct.
Yeah, it needs to be, you need to do something with it. So it's like now, we've got a 15-step plan, which is just very simple things you can do, you know, and we'll pass that on to you as well. And that literally came from me talking to a lady, one of the first independents, Caroline Stevenson, fantastic. We've got Moving on TV. I think that's why you were listening. That's how you got to hear about
Possibly.
this. But independent now really needs to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
We now really need to all share on our own platforms.
Journalists.
Yes.
Citizen journalists, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So and bypass the BBC, bypass
the mainstream
the controlled media, and just get the word out there, because we're beautiful people. We are. And when people say, how do you get the masses going? No, you don't need to. You just need to get enough people, and we can do the job. And while they're sleeping, the country will come back together, and one day they'll wake up and go, what happened? But the thing is, it will have happened, and it takes just, was it 3%, 3.5% of the community of the country, and we are that 3.5%. You know, because remember, we're only taking on 1%.
Yeah.
It still outnumbers them, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk and independent media, get it out, share it on your platforms. And like I said, the very first two people that spoke to me, remember, in all the time I've been doing it, I was never interviewed, right? One, because I would never back down. I would never give them that we're broken, or they're beating us, or I wouldn't give them the sad face. I went, look at what we've done. Look at what we've done. We've closed 4 sites. They were ready to be fracked. We've cost Quadrilla over 300 million. We did that, people. Nobody else did it for us. We did it. None of the Greens, you know, they didn't do it. They was destroying us, and we bypassed them. We walked around them, we walked over them, and we got to where we wanted to be.
Wow.
And right now we can do that.
And here you are now.
But what it is, we're here, but we need people on the night shift
Yes.
to keep it complete.
So tell us about this site here and how the organics of this started.
I'll let you tell that picture. You've done enough time now.
Okay. Well, basically.
How did this start?
We'll open up so you can see.
Well, fortunately, it was sort of put together by this man who's just worked tirelessly. But when it comes to people just being around us, we don't have a problem gathering people in the daytime. And there's always someone passing by, and we can invite them in and have a coffee or something and just chat. And that's very easy. But it's the night shift, because there's something about London at night when it goes that deadly quiet, and only certain people.
Look at it.
Yeah, I say deadly. Yeah.
It's like lockdown again, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's been like that for us, because I mean, we've really enjoyed the fact that people do pass by at night, because then they often, you know, gather towards us, and we have a nice chat usually. But it's about the twilight hours and the silence. It just makes sleeping. It makes you want to. I'm feeling sleepy now. My words aren't coming out coherently, but it makes you very, very tired, and you need to be stimulated. So that's why having a rota of people at night will just help us all. We just need and you know, it's good if there's two. You know, one person needs to be awake, chatting to one person, and if another comes by, something. So yeah, we need night shifts and people in twos to keep an eye on equipment and make sure if it rains that things are under a covering and things. So Yeah.
And if we're going to do a call out, we've got bad weather coming up. We don't want to fold this. We need to keep the pressure on that piece of land over there. So we need at least 3, maybe 4 gazebos to keep us covered and keep the pressure on, and give a place where people can come down to. And the thing is, we're all talking. There's something's happened. Something's happened where everybody has turned on and switched on. We're also. It's amazing how many people go, I just thought it was me. I knew there was something wrong. And everybody says the same thing. I'm going, do you realise how many times we hear that? And it says, and that's what's happening. But the thing is, you are turned on, and now you want to do something. Right. It's in our hands. Yeah. You know, we as communities, we don't give them the power. We do. You know, we can feed ourselves. You know, we can look after our elderly. We can, we can help the farmers. If I'm going to say anything to anybody now, the first thing you need to do now is get out to your farms. Get out to your farms around you and help them pick their crops. Yes. Because they're furloughing it, and they're grinding it back into the ground. So they need to pick the fruit. We're at the right time of year, and if we don't do it now, it's going to rot. People are going to starve, and it could be feeding your community, and it could be the difference this winter between life and death. I'm hoping the pressure we put on these now in August, we can bring them down. I truly believe that. But we can't take that chance with our communities. Work as a community, and it'll pay off. And we get through to next winter, through this winter, get through to next one. And one more, I'd like to add one more thing. Just right, November the 5th, collect your wood and burn it in winter. Don't burn it on that night. Because remember, November the 5th is a celebration of failure. We can turn that day into a beginning of the future. Yeah? So you save your wood, put it away, don't burn it, collect all your money for your fireworks, and then you're ready for winter, and you're going to actually heat people up and keep people alive. And that is that's more chance of bringing down Parliament and being a success than what Guy Fawkes did. And you know, brilliant. We've all got great ideas. Yeah. All right.
So pretty much the call to action is you need more marquees on stat. Really, you need them yesterday. The weather's closing in, right?
07517 245 113, and that's direct. We can get to us.
Say that a bit slower.
07517 245 113.
Thank you.
That way we'll get it straight away. We can tell you exactly what we need. And remember, we're not doing a Friends of the Earth that spend 1.8 million to raise funds.
No. This is get down here what you can.
To get the bigger effect, right? That's what we do. We don't need that vast amounts of money. It's tiny compared to what we're going to get back. All right. We need to keep this here. We need to keep that pressure on them.
So yeah, please, if you could do right now a call to action specifically to our viewers, top 5 things that you need done ASAP, please.
Okay. Well, first of all, if there are any people, preferably living locally in London, who are maybe insomniacs, well, we need you here. We need you for the night shift. So that's the first call of action. Thank you.
I'd say the second one is we need a bigger inverter, because what we want to do also is put a projector. I've got a projector, and put a screen on there and inform people. I mean, what we really need to do is do interviews of people where, you know, when Boris Johnson was saying people are nutted, the anti-vaxxers, shame on him, because, well, he has no shame. But what we're doing is those nutters are people that have children affected by the vaccine.
My parents
and
didn't vaccinate me.
So it's going to get me emotional, isn't it? Right? Because they're the ones that suffered, and they're not anti-vaxxers. Yeah, the insult, and that's what. If we can reach people with those stories and project it from Downing Street, the truth from Downing Street, rather than the lies, then I think that's going to step forward. So we'll need an inverter and leisure batteries, a couple of those, so we can keep it going. Okay. All right. That's the second one.
Always water. So if you're passing and you've got water, it's something we need, because I mean, particularly on the hot weather we've had, all of a sudden we're sort of suffering dehydration. Also, it's nice to be able to have enough water to sort of put the kettle on and make visitors that come in and inquire more a cup of tea or coffee. So that is a good thing that we need.
And going to add on that as well, we've had a few homeless people that can't get their hands on water, and they're gulping the water.
Yes.
They're gulping the water. So yeah,
they're dehydrated, aren't they? So we've been supporting them.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when there was actually. So yeah, fantastic one that, by the way. What would I say for the fourth one? The fourth one would be a. I can't really think now.
That goes to show. No, but that just goes to
That's
show
what
how
we need.
important the top 3 things are.
That's it. I think that's what we need. And donations.
Yeah.
With donations allows
Any
us
help's
to, and we don't need
appreciated.
thousands.
No.
We just need enough.
Yeah.
We're doing a
exposure.
shoestring here, and we're
Yeah.
not making it into an industry
No.
like
Oh,
other
and
organisations.
Ken just said the 5th one. I thought the 5th one. IT. IT is a killer. If everybody out there could get his IT, we could get it out to a wider audience. Have you? I'm going pleading now with the IT.
No, that's fine.
Because it's actually called Justice UK. We had to give it a name. We were going to do, like, was it 10 Frowning Street? We thought, might be a bit.
Justice UK
Yeah,
works
so but
just
Justice
fine.
UK. This is what it's called here, Justice UK. Justice on every level. So if we can do Justice UK website or whatever, if anybody's out there, we know there's some great people out there, especially in London. So Justice UK, get us that site, and then people can just go to it, and we can bypass Facebook and everything else. You just send them there, and it's on the front now, Justice UK.
And how long are you looking to sit this out for?
Do you know something? There is no end to me. I'll just carry on doing it until we get the job done. I want to get us done by November the 5th, because bring this government down. And people keep saying, when you talk about an empowerment, they go, what are we going to do about the government? What are you going to do about the government? And that's a valid question. But now they're taking a holiday and the country's still working. So the buses, they didn't stop. No, nothing stops because it's run by the councils. So you get rid of your government, we could do it, then we could start bringing it back to our communities.
That brings me to your hat.
Oh, right, well this was the locals. This was a fantastic local person came up with the idea of locals rising. Locals rising in where we were, because we're rising up against the infiltrators, and we beat them bad, right? And you always know when you're beating your enemy, they play the victim. And believe me, when you start seeing Boris Johnson and Nick Hancock, not Nick Hancock, what's his name, Matt Hancock playing the victim, you know he's beating them. And what's the one above it?
We say no.
Well, what it was, they were saying, we said no. And this was people that were jumping on, like Friends of the Earth and that, they were jumping on our tails, and they were taking credit for what we were doing, but what they did is sucked all the option. So we just changed, saying we say no, not we said no. We did the said no. We changed it, the narrative said we say no, and right now we say no.
So right now you're in it for the long haul, just for the viewers and their concern. This is not a
My campaign is
short-term
forever
solution to a long-term problem.
Yeah, it's forever.
Yeah, well, it's a fight, it's a battle for freedoms which suddenly disappeared within who would have thought, within a blink of an eye, that suddenly we're made to stay indoors, not see our loved ones.
We did all the right things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And getting us to only exercise for 1 hour. And what we have to be aware of is that certain websites, and like Wales press website, they're saying that they're already talking about lockdown number 2, so they want us all to have a COVID Christmas, and it's like, no, it's not happening. No, to have grandparents separated from their grandchildren, all that, no. So we've got to make sure that we're not all imprisoned by the government, which is effectively what's happened, and our freedoms have been eroded. And the thing is, it's the children's health. It's about the kids at the end of the day. They shouldn't be walking around with a mask, being afraid to breathe and having all this fear. And it's the government are spending millions on this. I want to say a certain word, but it's like a fear dynamic, and they've put so much into it. Every advert, radio, you name it, and even at the bus stops, the ones that are changing, it's all fear and are you safe? Keep your distance, and it's just ridiculous. And people need to see through it, and hopefully people are waking up.
The line I'd like to go with is: the Grinch stole spring, stole summer, and he wants to steal
Christmas. The Grinch,
right? And we can stop that, and we can. We really.
That's a good name for him, actually. The Grinch. Boris, the Grinch. Yeah.
But really, let's be honest. We do that, then we take on the king, his boss, and that's Bill Gates. Bill Gates is behind all this and his cabal. We do that.
Bill Gates, the hell.
But we have to do this. Yeah. That's a step to get to Bill Gates.
You did mention earlier on when I was speaking to you that Boris has actually done quite a few things already that's dismantled the system that you're opposed to.
He's actually done us a favour, because there's now only half a parliament. Yeah, so it's broken parliament. He's made Downing Street irrelevant, and so what we do now is we pick up those pieces and build the future that we want to build. And we are very, very clever people. We've got millionaires, good millionaires on our side, good billionaires on our side. And all the people that's on their side, we can match it. But when you got Bill Gates saying you've got to vaccinate 7 billion people, I like those odds. 7 billion to 1, guess who's going to win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with what the information that's come out about hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah.
There's a cure.
And he's even admitted himself, if there's a cure.
Yeah.
You know
there's a cure. There
There's no
are
need for a
documented results, not blind, double blind. What is it?
It's their wordplay. I don't do word salad.
Yeah, me neither. But there is many documented proofs on the results of hydroxychloroquine. There are people going on record
safe, and all of a sudden now it's not safe.
Yes.
Get out of here. Yeah. No, good point. Very good point.
Yeah. So
there's a cure. Why do we need a vaccine?
Yeah, exactly. When there's already a cure. With where you're going with this, how have you felt the people that you've spoken to personally since you've been on site? How have they been with the conversation of the vaccine and hydroxychloroquine?
Everybody's saying exactly that. They know. Do you know what they don't count on is the unknown. They don't factor in the unknown, and each one of us is an unknown because we don't know what we're going to do. We didn't know what the problem was, and now everybody's saying the same thing, right? Because what they didn't factor in is when they did COVID, it meant everybody's at home. Everybody's at home on the computer. And like we did with fracking, we found out about fracking. Everybody's going, oh, nutrition, oh, immune system, oh, and we're now doctors. We now know a hell of a lot more, right? And that's what they didn't count on. So now we know the truth. We all know how to look after our bodies. We know our vitamins. And when you get kids getting on the stage going, eat your fruit, eat your veg, eat your nutrition, you know what I mean? And it's smart. And believe it or not, where we were depressed, or where we're people, we're smiling in here every single time we come in. You know what I mean? You do, because it is a joke. Really think about it.
Yeah.
How have we been led to do this? You know,
mainstream media have not helped very much, have they?
Oh gosh, they've done everything.
Let's laugh again. Let's laugh again. Let's sort it out and get the kids to school in a safe place, in a safe environment,
playing
with a better education system, because we know
that
some bad
needs to
stuff.
be revised. That needs to
the
be
parents didn't know.
revised, no.
Now the parents will. Parents now, their eyes are open.
Their
they
kids
want
actually
no more.
don't need to go to school to get a good education, don't they?
Yeah, but it's the socialising.
Yes.
From whichever side, because the thing is, sometimes at home, but sometimes at home it's not the healthiest place. So
correct.
You say so. There's a fine line, but we can do better. Yes. All right, we know the problems now. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
They won't never fix it. They just make more problems. All right. From my point of view, I think I've said enough. I don't know about you, but I'll leave it up to you to wrap it up.
You have, yeah. At this stage, I'd love everyone to find out where they can see you online. Where can people find you online?
Well, there's only one place that's got my whole history. So, you know when you infiltrators and all that, I just said to everybody, go on Frack. I wish I'd have named it something different, but that's the fact. So it's on Facebook. It's called Frack. Separate words. Frack. F-R-A-C-K. Separate word. Free. I would have to spell that.
No worries.
And spell, and then it's filed. F-Y-L-D-E.
Perfect.
Right. So my name's a weird name. Geza Fragment, so everything's on Frack Free filed.
Lovely.
And that goes from where I'm a DJ at the beginning, because there's still photographs of that, believe it or not, but my whole history's on there, to where I've been fighting fracking, to where we are now.
Brilliant.
Right,
and can people keep up with what you're doing? Do you post regularly and keep everyone up to date?
Do I post regularly? We do so much, so we can post so much.
Perfect.
But the stories I want now are the parents of children. We've already had one on there. Testimonies. And that's real people. That's not the nutters, that's not the anti-vaxxers. They label us, well, let's give them, the proof.
So a call to action for parents to get in contact, give their testimonies. So, for viewers that don't know where they can find you, where can they find you on social media?
On Frack Free Filed, which is Frack, F-R-A-C-K, free, separate words, and then filed, F-Y-L-D-E.
Wow. Brilliant. And that's where you post all of your up-to-date videos.
The whole history of my background to where we are now goes on that site. It's just the easiest thing, it's all on there.
Wonderful. Right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We will be back to film again day and night to try and keep up to date with what you're doing. You're making history here. You're in front of Downing Street, you're in front of the Prime Minister's office, and if people are not paying attention to you, they're probably under a rock. And as you said, they need to come down here themselves in person and
show their love and support.
Show their love and support.
We need it, don't we? We all need it.
Yeah.
And it helps us to stay awake.
Yeah.
We're doing a rebellion with hugs and kisses.
I love it.
Yeah, the
Love
revolution. Silent revolution with hugs and kisses.
The opposite of the
That's it.
distancing.
That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. That's been us here at Downing Street, London. We'll be back again and bring you more up to date with more information soon. Thank you.